Like, it's almost enough house for an estate, but without the estate. Guten Morgen, mein Freunds. Call the law, it's a camera. I think we've covered this before, but call the law, it's a camera. That's you, GCM, right? Feel free to tell me to shut up if I'm outing something I shouldn't have been. That'd be my mistake, and I apologize for it. All right, y'all ready to, let's did this. Ooh, let me double check something real quick. Before I run the thing, let me make sure. Yep, looks like we're getting audio. Here you go. Good morning. Oh, I've got the stick over here. I can look what I found. Ha ha. It's a Cameron. He's back. We miss you, baby. And this morning we're going to be covering an article that Cameron sent over to me. I was tracking this issue already. This is not what I was planning on talking about this morning necessarily, but it is one that I've been wanting to talk about, and hell yeah, let's get to this. So you want to introduce the story since it was you that sent it over to me?
Well,
don't do that.
Oh my. Well, you know what? Just flip it over and we'll get into this.
Get it.
Okay. Biden administration sues Texas governor over Rio Grande buoy barrier that's meant to stop migrants. The Justice Department on Monday sued Texas Governor Greg Abbott over a newly installed floating barrier on the Rio Grande that is the Republicans' latest aggressive tactic to try and stop migrants from crossing into the U.S. from Mexico. The lawsuit asks a federal judge in Austin to force Texas to remove a roughly 1,000-foot line of bright orange wrecking ball-sized buoys that the Biden administration says raises humanitarian and environmental concerns. The suit claims that Texas unlawfully installed the barrier without permission between the border cities of Eagle Pass and Piedras Negras, Mexico. The buoys are the buoys are the latest escalation of Texas border security operation that also includes razor wire fencing, arresting migrants on trespassing charges, and sending busloads of asylum seekers to Democrat-led cities and other states. Critics have long questioned the effectiveness of the two-year operation known as Operation Lone Star. A state troopers account this month that some of the measures injured migrants has put the mission under intensifying new scrutiny. So
there's a lot to talk about here, and before you say any more, I want to show them this. This is what they're talking about. All right, it's buoys. And as you can see, this guy, he's got his foot up on it. This guy's trying to climb over it. Okay, thing one. Swim under it.
Well, I'm pretty sure that it's not that simple. It's not just buoys.
I should hope not. Essentially, what we're talking about here is float the wall.
Well, yeah, and Because I have an unhealthy relationship with Twitter and
I think you mean X.
No, I mean Twitter. Elon doesn't have many misses. This might be one. This might be one. Sure, you can call it X all you want. Like, do you know the original one's actually called Raiders of the Lost Ark? It's not Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, but everybody calls it Indiana Jones. So, but I've got the unhealthy obsession thing with Twitter, and I mean the virtue signal is strong with this one. Like, oh my God, you're okay with families drowning in the river, and these buoys are like they're humanitarian, and I'm like, okay, look, let's just start with the obvious thing. You don't actually have to get in the water,
right? Yeah, if you're drowning your child, Governor Greg Abbott is not drowning children in the river. Let's clarify something. Criminal aliens are drowning their children in the river.
Well,
right? That's the humanitarian crisis. The border security situation is this simple. If you suffer harm committing crime, that is your fault. That is not the fault of your victim. A migrant, and I hate the use of that word. These are not migrants. These are criminal aliens, right? These are the rogue actors of a hostile foreign nation conducting the activity of invasion into a sovereign state. So get this migrant humanitarian bullshit out of your head right now. At the border, that is the border between two lawful jurisdictions where the authority changes hand for the enforcement of law. Crossing that without the right to do so is voluntarily subjecting yourself to whatever consequence is related to that violation. If you try to cross from South Korea into North Korea, nobody's pitching a temper tantrum about people getting shot at that border. And there's a reason for that. Nobody wants to go into North Korea because it's a shithole. At the same time, for the same reason you lock your doors because you want your nice TV to be there when you get home, criminals are attempting to break into the United States to steal value because that is where the value exists. There are so many ways to die at the border before the law even becomes involved. You're taking an extraordinary risk by simply trying to commit the crime to begin with. That risk includes difficult terrain, harsh travel conditions, risk of starvation, dehydration. We see a lot of criminal aliens drop for those reasons as well. Traffickers, people who are engaged in the criminal activity of trafficking criminal aliens across a border are human traffickers. And you would be hard-pressed to find someone who's involved in that human trafficking who is not also involved in the Sound of Freedom's type human trafficking that is a very significantly related problem. There is a market for slave labor, and that market gets its supply from somewhere. This is one of those places, to an extraordinary degree. It is a multi-billion-dollar market, a huge market, set, I think, for next year to outstrip the market value of the drug trade. I mean, huge market. So what's happening here is the Biden administration is offended that another lawful entity, lawfully appointed, lawfully organized entity, is in fact doing the job of the federal government in lieu of the federal government doing the job that it exists to do, which is to secure the borders and ensure the freedom and security of this nation.
Okay, there's all that, but
yes, there is.
But look, let's back all the way up just for a second. All right, I really don't feel like this point can be overstressed. It's a wall.
Yep.
If a wall hurts you, I'm just going to go ahead and say 99.995% of the time, it is not the fault of the wall. It's a wall. Do you remember when we were kids, you played Magic the Gathering, you could get walls?
Yep.
And walls couldn't attack?
Right.
Because they were walls.
Yeah. Yes, the buoy, the border buoy has defender.
Like if it had card text, it would have big stats, can't attack. Like that's how that would work.
Yeah, it's a 0/100 billion creature.
Probably not quite that big, but your point is well taken. So if you look at what it's 1,000 yards long, so you can't go around it. Now, granted, we're talking about.
Have you ever walked 1,000 yards?
Yes.
It's not great, but it's not that bad.
But look, and I get it. It's the Rio Grande River. Okay, so parts of the river could actually be incredibly dangerous to cross. Because river water's funny, y'all. Like it will carry you away. But you can't just walk 1,000 yards. You have to get in the river right here, and you have to try and beat these buoys. Otherwise, you can't cross the Rio Grande. So not only is it a wall, sounds like it's actually a pretty darn effective wall. If you're at the point where you look at something and you go, man, going over that wall, yeah, going over that wall is actually easier than going around that wall. That was a good spot for that wall. So what happened is the Biden administration gave...
Sorry, I had to throw that one out there for Xander back.
That's a name. That's definitely a name.
Xander Mac and Cheese hits it with the, welcome to Hydro World.
Yeah, so, of course, on Monday when this happened, the Biden administration basically gave Texas till midnight to begin removing the buoys. And, of course, Mean Gene diversity hire Pierre came out and I swear she said this wall made it more difficult for federal police agencies to do their job. I am not lying. I am not exaggerating. For emphasis, she went on to explain about how not only is this a humanitarian issue, but there's actually a way this process is supposed to work. And if they don't come into the country and get detained, the agencies that detain them after they get in the country can't do their job. Wow. I wish I was kidding.
Wow.
So you have a state that said
she really is the worst press secretary we've ever had. Like Jen Psaki was just a bald-faced liar.
But she wasn't retarded.
Right. She wasn't an idiot.
She was technically proficient at the job.
She was very good at staring into the camera and lying to the American people. She was good at what she did. But this chick...
Yeah, the diversity hire.
And that's it. That really is it. I mean, she's in the position for the same reason that people like her are in colleges they don't belong in.
So what if she's not actually as stupid as we think she is? What if she's actually really intelligent, but she was deliberately hired as a queer black female so that she could say these ridiculous things, and you're a racist, bigot, homophobe if you criticize her?
Same outcome.
Yeah, but
no, I see what you're getting at, and I suspect that that's the same reason that Ketanji Brown got stuck on the Supreme Court.
Well, it's above her pay grade.
Yeah. We want a person who is, how do we say, compositionally unassailable, so that they can make claims that could not be made by a reasonable person who didn't have illegal protections.
Right. So, but to kind of go back to the issue, one of the things that that has been a problem, has been a weak point, is the Rio Grande itself. Like we've seen the pictures and the video of hundreds, possibly even thousands of illegal immigrants at a time crossing the Rio Grande, and it's just like, well, gosh, what can we do? Well, Greg Abbott said, hey, I know what we can do. We could put a speed bump right in the middle of the river.
Yep.
And that will at least help. Okay, can I kick in your locked door? I can, but opening your unlocked door and kicking in your locked door are two completely different propositions. There is no barrier that is completely undefeatable. Obviously not. But that doesn't mean you don't have a barrier. Good fences make good neighbors. And in this case,
condoms have a 1% fail rate. That doesn't mean don't use one.
Actually, they've got about a 3.5% fail rate, and the majority of that failure rate is user error, not product error.
Oh,
don't ask me how I know, but I promise.
IUDs are supposed to have a very small fail rate, and it never slowed me down.
That is okay. Anyhow.
Anyway, the point here though is that Biden's upset because somebody's doing his job for him. This is like you're in the store, right? And you drop a bottle of prune juice, you go pick up the mop, and you're cleaning up your mess, and the janitor comes over and stabs you.
Well, I mean, that depends. Is this a plastic bottle of prune juice or a glass bottle of prune juice? Because I'd be willing to bet if you drop a glass bottle in a store for liability reasons, the store's like, nope, screw you. We need to clean it up. Step away from the broken glass.
That depends on the neighborhood.
But here's the other thing. I knew all this humanitarian stuff, and this is how cynical I've gotten about the news, about the left wing, about the perception in social media. Kind of like how I knew the Jason Aldean song wasn't racist because all the right
because
people...
a lefty said it was?
Because a lefty said it was. And so as soon as I heard lefties complaining that, oh, this is some humanitarian crisis... honestly, here's what it reminded me of. Remember, what was it, a year and a half ago when we had the pictures of the Texas border guard whipping poor migrants?
And then we found out, oh, you lied. It is literally the case that if a leftist says X is X, then the truth is that X is Y.
Well, it's not necessary.
Like, for example, XX and XY.
Yes, that was a lot of setup for a gender pun, but it was good. It was good. I just didn't realize which way you were going. And if you wanted to look at it in terms of mathematics, I think it'd be more fair to say that if a leftist says X, it's more likely to be minus X.
Well, good morning, sunshine. Come here. Oh, shit. You got heavy. You almost took me down. Can you wave at the camera and say, good morning, Granddad?
Good morning, Granddad.
Oh, and here's Michael. All the kids are coming down. You see, so what happened was...
Granddad.
My eldest daughter is on her way to go and spend a week with my mother-in-law. And so Fee is on her way back from the airport, having gone to drop Vera off to catch her solo flight for the first time. Buddy, I'm out of lap right now. You just say good morning to Ma and Granddad.
Good morning.
Okay, excellent. Oh, and Grandma Barrett's on too. Say good morning to Grandma Barrett.
Good morning. Good morning, Grandma Barrett.
Good job, kids. Okay, I love you. Why don't y'all go upstairs, Michael? Why don't y'all go upstairs and get some breakfast?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be up in a little bit. Ma and Granddad both said good morning, and so did Grandma Barrett. They said they love you. Okay. Shoo, buddy.
Excuse me. Anyhow, I knew it was bullshit because it even had that same flavor of, oh my God, look at them whipping all these migrants. Right. And
I'm sure that's a thing that happened.
Well, and again, I keep going back to like, oh my God, Greg Abbott he's drowning these people. He's like, yes, Greg Abbott is. He's rolling his wheelchair down to the Rio Grande.
He's personally rolling it over to the Rio Grande, crawling to the water so that he can swim and fight relatively healthy, fit men who believe that they're strong enough to swim across the Rio Grande.
Yeah, and oh, well, no, man. He's got one of those new models of Rascal that's like a James Bond. Like, it just turns into a hovercraft. Like he pushes a button and.
We should just build shooting ranges along the border. Should be federally funded. Profit margin goes to alleviate the national debt. You show up, you buy a pallet of ammunition, you pay your range fee, and you go out and you shoot at targets.
No, I'm clear on it. Like
I'm not even saying you shoot migrants.
No. Everything's done
actual
by
targets.
Everything's done by implication, and
it's just that the whole border is now the live range.
You know, at that point, if you make it through a live range, you know, maybe we do give you amnesty.
Yeah, we'll just put recruiting stations behind you. Okay, you made it across the range. Here's a recruiting station. Yeah. Let's begin your path to citizenship. Raise your right hand.
Right.
Repeat after me. Me amo. Me amo estúpido.
So, roll that over for me real quick. No, not that one. This thing over here.
Oh.
That one right there. I'm trying to see. There's somebody named Grammer293. I don't know.
G-Rammer. Rees from South Carolina, and we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Yeah, I don't know who. I didn't recognize the name, so I just wanted to say hello and good morning. But super long story short, walls don't hurt people. Buoys don't drown people. And even now, I mean, it's the year 2023, it's current year, and Democrats still want to play fuck games with brown people.
Well, it really is as simple as this. This is one very effective way to steal an election. You need bodies. You need illegal voters to vote.
Well, not only that, here's the thing. I believe I'm willing to take some things again by implication. I think this buoy thing works. You know how I know? The Biden administration is suing the state of Texas to stop it.
Yeah, I wanted to address it a minute ago when he said it, but early in the show, like almost 20 minutes ago, Pitt Denny said they must work if the Biden admin wants them gone. I wanted to address absolutely. You're 100% correct. That the Biden administration is opposed to it means that it's effective. You know, I mean, for example, Donald Trump asking Zelensky to investigate corruption in the Ukraine. The Democrats hated that idea, and the obvious conclusion is that it would have been effective. Another great example: the Democrats love Obamacare because, God forbid, we had something that was effective.
You know, and it's funny about all that stuff with the Ukraine, where it's like, gosh, you know, you want a foreign government to help you take down one of your political opponents, and it's like, gee, I wonder how you knew that would be the outcome if we investigated in Ukraine. It's like, again, it's like the Jason Aldean song. It's like, oh, you're talking about all that violent crime, racist, and it's like, why did you assume Jason Aldean meant black people? Why was that? Why is that exactly where your mind went? Because I feel like that says way more about you than it does me. Also, as a lifelong metalhead, I never imagined in 2023 I would be downloading a country song just to own the libs. I didn't have that on my 2023 bingo card, and yet here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I had Laser Vision Coke Goats on my bingo card before that. It's right there next to Meth Gator and Cocaine Bear. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm looking for sequels here. I'm holding my breath for Cocaine Gator or Cocaine Bear versus Meth Gator, and if I don't get a laser spine porcupine in there somewhere, I may just fall apart.
Anyhow, coming to the end of the show. Obviously this worked. Obviously the Biden administration has a problem with it. And here's the thing. If you could take your emotion and you could put it aside, putting up these barriers is actually the most humanitarian thing that you can do. If crossing these deserts can make you die of exposure and heat stroke and dehydration, if crossing the Rio Grande can make you drown, if having this porous border can allow for child sex slaves and fentanyl-laced cocaine to come across the border, then you make the border more difficult to cross. And you'll have less of all of that other shit that happens. I'm not the one that's cruel. I'm the one that doesn't actually want people to get a batch of cocaine with fentanyl in it and die. I am not somebody that wants to see 8-year-olds get sold into slavery. I don't want families to get lost in the desert and die.
Moose Jaws. That sounds like an OnlyFans channel. Sorry.
I don't actually want those. I agree, those are terrible, inhumane things.
Yes.
And the way you stop it, or at the very least, the way you mitigate it and minimize it, is things like the buoy barrier. Because you know what would happen if that buoy barrier got left in place?
People would stop going that way?
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. That's it.
Yep.
That is exactly what would happen. People would go, you know, gosh, every time we try to cross the river right here, it's fucking hard.
Let's don't cross the river right here.
Let's don't cross the river right here.
It's like that time you decided to just, you know what, I think I'm going to stop putting my dick in this particular toaster.
That is,
So, thanks for watching this morning, guys. We need to go ahead and wrap it up. I got a few things I want to close on before I shut it down. Xander Max says, yeah, when is range day? I have an entire gun club available. You know, we need to have that conversation with His Majesty, who is also watching, and come to a conclusion on whether we should do it there or maybe do it at the farm where we could, you know, burn off some brass and then burn off some meat and beers. So we need to have that conversation offline and figure out a schedule for it. And I got to admit that it won't be in the immediate future because I'm busy as a squirrel trying to shed a pineapple. I'm booked up for the next month and a half at least. And then the other one I wanted to close on, I will be, we've got a little bit of swag out there. We've got some T-shirts and stuff for sale. I'm going to be putting this one on a T-shirt and putting it up on the store sometime in the next couple days. And the only thing that stopped me from having it published already is, frankly, the store that we use for the swag that we have. I'm not real happy with, so I'm shopping around to try and pick a different service provider, a different vendor for that. But I'll have this one out hopefully by the end of the month, which is, I know, rapidly approaching. And Xander Max says maybe when Danny comes down, I like that math. That'd be fantastic.
I like the way that maths. Yes.
We could even do a special live stream show from the farm if we were to do it that way, and that'd be over the top. But yeah, so keep an eye out. I'll let you guys know live on the show as soon as these T-shirts are available, and I'll have links available for them. And I'd love to see these all over the place. And I know the primaries aren't over yet, but boy, they almost might as well be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a totally different show. Primaries look like they might be over for Ron DeSantis.
No shit.
Yeah, like it might be President Donnie Two Scoops and Vice President Vivek is that's the way things are shaping up.
Crabgrass Baby is trying to pull an Adam Schiff here in an effort to make their deaths in our hands as compassionate as possible. All undocumented individuals attempting to cross the border into Texas will be shocked senseless before being sent to a watery grave. Said nobody until you attempted to fabricate a transcript. But you know what? I'm good with it.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny, and it's proof that if the left can't win an argument on the facts.
Never.
Like you just can't.
So y'all be safe out there, guys. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.